At NETRF, we talk a lot about Thrivership, the state of knowing what you need in your personal journey to thrive after cancer treatment and what survivorship looks like for you. Quality of life is hope in action and an area of research. Our Director of Patient Education, Jessica Thomas, has practical Thrivership strategies. Dr. Simron Singh, an oncologist at Odette Cancer Center at Sunnybrook Research Institute in Toronto, will discuss quality of life research.
Hi, I'm Jessica Thomas, Director of Patient Education for the Neuroendocrine Tumor Research Foundation. I am here to talk with you about hope in action, living well with NETs through NET Thrivership. But to talk about a NET Thrivership journey, we have to identify what is Thrivership and maybe perhaps what it's not. NET Thrivership is a personal journey. It's a lifelong process and it begins at the diagnosis and continues throughout life. It's individual. It varies for each person, and it really may include physical, emotional, and social aspects, so it's different for everyone. It's hopeful. It's focused on living well beyond cancer, embracing life with optimism. It's supported and often involves medical follow-up, rehabilitation, and support and multidisciplinary care. It's empowering. It encourages self-care, advocacy, and lifestyle adjustments for wellness. And it's changing and challenging at times. But what NET Thrivership is not, is it's not temporary. It's not uniform. It's not isolated. It's not defeating. It's not something we should ignore. And it's not something that's very well defined. So what are the components of NET Thrivership? I think essentially they're a recipe. And one of the things that is in NET Thrivership are things that we can't control. And that may be NETs or NECs. It may be the grief that is a part of your journey. It may be changes that you experience, treatments, and symptoms. And so those things are going to automatically be a part of your NET journey. But the other things are the fun things, the things that you can control, the things that you can add in to help to live well with NETs. So a couple of these things are gratitude, sleep, utilizing resources, having a holistic approach, positive psychology, being connected with others, managing your symptoms, having aspects of emotional wellness, exercise, nutrition, stress management, finding purpose, managing uncertainty, professional support, building a support system, and hanging on to what matters most. Also, resilience building is a part of NET Thrivership, and I'm going to focus on a little bit of resilience as I continue to talk about Thrivership today. But before we do that, I want to talk about worry versus care. I want to help you get into a place of control. And we can control not being in a place of worry and moving to a place of care. Worry can be difficult because it's really charged on negative emotions and potential negative outcomes, while care is rooted in the present moment and the actions that you can take now. Worry can tend to create a sense of anxiety, whereas care can give you a sense of control. And so I want to give you the permission, if you find yourself worrying, to know that you can move yourself to a place of care, and that's empowering, and that is something that you can control. Next, we're going to talk about NEST. This is an acronym I learned at a recent conference I attended on happiness. And I thought it fit really well with a NEC population. When we think about our foundation, we should think about our NEST. How is our nutrition? Are we eating well? How is your exercise? Movement is so important for you on a physical level, but also on a psychological level. And exercise looks different from person to person, but movement, are you moving? How is your sleep? Sleep helps us to reset. Sleep also can help us with fatigue. And then there's touch. And so for touch, I think of holding hands or hugs, but also I think beyond that, I think it means more connection. Are we connected with others? So thinking of these as 4 primary things that we should have in our Thrivership journey and NEST. We're going to move on to some resilience building strategies. And the first one is a mindset tool. Now, if you have followed me at all in the Net Thrivership series, you would see that I talk a lot about gratitude because gratitude can help us to rewrite experiences and help us to find some of the good and the positive. It doesn't override, though, the difficult things that happen. They're still there. Another strategy for gratitude is glimmering. This is something that a patient shared with me a little bit ago, and I just think it's fantastic. So, as you go through your day, what are the little things that were little glimmers? Things that made you happy, made you smile? More than likely, they were small things. So, as you end your day, think about the things that glimmered for you throughout the day. And then there's unfortunately, fortunately. And I like this concept because bad things happen and unfortunate things happen, and we don't need to discount them. So we can talk about difficult things that happened by saying, unfortunately, this happened, but then finding the fortunate part. For example, if I was running late to a doctor's appointment, unfortunately, I was running late to a doctor's appointment, but fortunately, I was able to listen to a song that reminded me of a time when I was really happy. Accepting your emotions can be very helpful, and there's no bad or wrong emotions to feel. So for this micro practice, I'm going to lead us through how to do this, and I hope that you'll get something from it and repeat it in the future. So for this micro practice, I want you to find a quiet space. I want you to sit comfortably, and I want you to close your eyes. Take in a few deep breaths. When you inhale, breathe in through your nose. Hold your breath for just a second, and then exhale through your mouth. Do this for a couple of times just to help you get centered. Now we're going to bring our mind to any emotions that you might be feeling that are present with you right now. And I want you to acknowledge them without any judgment, whether it's fear, sadness, frustration, overwhelm, or maybe even excitement, calm, or hope. I want you to observe the sensations that you feel. Notice any physical sensations with these emotions. It could be tension in your body, a lump in your throat, a feeling of warmth, or even a feeling of heaviness. Allow yourself to fully feel these sensations without trying to change or resist them. As you continue to breathe slowly and deeply, remind yourself that emotions are a natural part of the human experience. There's no right or wrong way to feel. Embrace each emotion as it arises, accepting it with kindness and compassion. Next, take a moment to reflect on how practicing acceptance of your emotions makes you feel. Notice any shifts in your awareness or emotional state. When you're ready, gently release any lingering tension, discomfort with each exhale. And then we finish this micro practice by expressing gratitude for the moment of self-awareness and acceptance, for the ability to give ourselves time and space to feel what we are feeling. So for this last resilience building activity, we're going to focus on connection. I'm going to go to the conference that I attended recently. The presenter asked everyone to take their phone out, and I'm going to ask for you to do the same thing if your phone is available. If not, you can do this exercise later. But I want you to reach out to one or two connections, one or two contacts in your phone. Maybe somebody you've missed talking to, maybe somebody you've wanted to connect with, or maybe someone that you've had a hard time just saying hi because you've been so busy. I want you to take a moment to do that right now. Say hi, thinking of you. How are you doing? I would love to schedule a time to talk, whatever feels comfortable. And so the purpose of this activity is to initiate connection because connection fuels us, and it's a very important part of our Thrivership journey. NETRF is dedicated to help you in your Thrivership journey, and we have a whole lot of Thrivership resources for you. You can see in the middle of the screen there is a QR code. And there, if you scan the QR code, it will take you to our Net Knowledge Center. And our Net Knowledge Center will bring you to resources to sign up for our Net Patient Guide, to listen to our NetWise podcast, to see our Net Thrivership series, as well as being able to sign up for conferences such as the Know Your Nets conference. Please know that we have a lot of resources and that we're here for you in your Thrivership journey. And I'll end with this. You matter. Your journey matters. You are not alone. And we care at NETRF. My contact information is on the screen, and you can feel free to reach out with any questions that you may have, or if you just want more Thrivership resources during your NET journey.
Hi there, I'm Simron Singh. I'm a professor of medicine at the University of Toronto in Toronto, Canada, and also a co-founder of the Susan Leslie Clinic for Neuroendocrine Cancers. I'm a medical oncologist with a special interest and specialization in neuroendocrine cancers. Early in my career as an oncologist, I think what's really become important to me is there's two things that as an oncologist and a patient team we can work towards together. One is to improve the quantity of life, and the second is to improve the quality of life. So live longer or live better. And those are the two goals that I think I share with my patients. So when it comes to live better, we know that many patients with neuroendocrine cancer are going to be living with this disease for a period of time. Hopefully we can start thinking of this like a chronic disease, like we think of diabetes, we think of people who have osteoarthritis. People live with these diseases. So for me, and I think for many of my patients, quality of life really means living with neuroendocrine cancer and living their best life possible as symptom-free and as high functionality as they can be to ensure that they can go on with their lives, the things that are important to them while dealing with the neuroendocrine cancer. Quality of life is a really big umbrella. Now we have, when we do clinical studies, we have very standardized tools that are used, and they're used between different studies, and they're measuring quality of life the same way. But there's more to that. There's also something called patient-reported outcomes, where we want to understand what's the impact of the disease and of the treatment on patients' life. One of the larger studies that we've done is really asking patients directly around the world, how does neuroendocrine cancers affect your life? And it does. It affects their ability to work. It affects their ability to do the things that they enjoy with their family and friends. It affects their energy levels, and it can have impact on their families and their caregivers. So I think understanding all of that is very important. And most recently, what we've been doing is ensuring that as we develop new treatments for neuroendocrine cancer, that we include the impact not only on how long the new treatments help people live, but how well they help people live during that time period. And make sure that we include these as very important parts of development of any new drugs or treatments. The final piece I'll add is we also have to do a better job at trying to understand what's important for patients. And that could be different. We've done some studies on what's called a discrete choice experiment, where we actually ask patients, based on your disease and based on these choices of treatments that you may have, what's right for you when we compare that live better, live longer? How does those things affect you and your values? And how, in fact, does that ensure that you're living the way you want to live with this disease? Unfortunately, many patients with neuroendocrine cancers have a what we call functional syndrome, which means they have secreting hormones, and those hormones can cause different symptoms: abdominal pain, bloating, flushing, diarrhea, fatigue. So I think, first of all, telling us about those common symptoms that we are often asked about as neuroendocrine patients and providers, the flushing, the diarrhea, is important. But I think the other thing that people can do is tell us about how this disease is impacting their daily life. I often ask my patients, tell me about what an average day for you is like. What time are you getting up? How are you spending your day? Are you able to achieve the activities that you want to achieve? Are you able to meet things such as meals and laundry, or do you need help with that? Are you able to find the help that you need with that? So I think telling people about how the disease is impacting your life, how you want to be living your life, and how the disease is holding you back or the treatments are holding you back, I think is really important to share with your provider, because your provider wants to ensure that as a team you're able to meet your goals, and they could be different from different people. But certainly if you have things that are you want to do that you can't do, I think you need to share that with your oncologist so that you guys can work together to try to achieve those things. And on that line, if there's special events coming up, if there's a wedding coming up, if there's a trip you want to take, if there's a graduation you want to be well for, I think those are very important things to share with your oncologist, because they're really meaningful milestones in people's lives. And we want to work together to ensure that we can meet those. Things like adherence to the medications as much as possible is important. Remembering to take the medications and to work together. I think collecting information, sometimes for some people, it really works to have a diary and to write down their symptoms and to write down what they're feeling so that when it comes time to see their oncologist, they have that data and they can sort of look back and reflect on it together. I think nutrition is important, and sometimes we have patients that are struggling with nutrition, and we want to working together with a dietitian and nutritional support to try to make sure that we're able to optimize nutrition. And I think one of the things I would say that's probably underemphasized sometimes is this is a stressful process, and I expect it to be a stressful process. And so ensuring that we take care of our mental well-being is very important, and most cancer centers will be able to refer you to a psychologist or to a team of people, and it may even be peer support, a patient support group. But I think taking care of your mental well-being as well as your physical well-being is very important. A lot of patients ask me about exercise, and we certainly encourage exercise, but to a point of where your body tells you. I think listening to your body is very important. And my advice would be to stay active, but not push yourself too hard such that you get fatigued or it sort of sets you back. You really want to maintain a good physical exercise to the point where your body tells you that's good. I'm happy there.